All right. Greetings. Welcome all to Dorsey's Resource. I'm back for another session. Welcome. The topic of this video is going to be somewhere along the lines of how we may be facing an extinction level event before the Dinar RV or GCR occurs. Somewhat in the title, I plan on discussing, or at the last moment. I just wanted to get my way in. Someone recently texted me, gave me an update. I let her know I would be getting ready to go live. Right now is one of the few times. Got about less than an hour. Um, Hopefully, I felt this was an important update. This is going to be like from a different angle. Turn this radio down. Uh, so once again, the topic is going to be how we may be facing an extinction level event before the GCR, the Dinar RV occurs. Something along the line. It's in the title. This is serious. As I'm getting indication why the Dinar has been stalled for years. People are wondering what's going on. For those that believe, there's a lot of people that obviously are skeptical or have given up on the whole reset, but there is information that has come out throughout the years. Many of us, we've been waiting on this for a very long time to occur. This is topic this video, the details. This is going to be from a different angle. Right around the time that the GCR occurs, or at the last moment, this is along the lines that they this the cabal reset. There's a difference between full currency reset versus Klaus Schwab, member of the World Economic Forum, recently CEO of BlackRock was appointed as a co-chairman of World Economic Forum. This was significant. This was reported on a while ago. Get a lot of it's the great 2030 nothing and be happy. So, uh, somehow we lost the feed, so hopefully this is continuing. Just to let you know, I'm back. We had some technical difficulties. We lost the feed. There was bad weather. This could be due to, we had a hurricane that just hit Jamaica. We can see other effects. Probably we have some rain where we're at. A lot of times that interferes with the signal. But thank you guys for bearing with me. The topic of this video is along the lines how we may be facing an extinction level event before the Dinar RV or as the GCR occurs, right at the last moment, because the cabal, as I was discussing, if you've never heard Klaus Schwab, look up Klaus Schwab, the World Economic, his 2030 agenda. You will own nothing and be happy. They want to create 15-minute cities, this social credit system, if they are successful, where it would integrate not only your regular credit score, but sociably, how you do things if you're a smoker, a drinker, or do things that goes against the cabal's agenda. If they get into superpower, as they're setting up their one world government, their new world order, they need the United States, they need the, what is it called, American Union, European Union, African Union, and Asian Union to unite. This is to effectively create. I'm kind of jumping ahead, but I'm condensing the information for you guys to digest, to be able to understand the powers that shouldn't be, that are behind a lot of the problems that's been behind the corrupt banking system. The evil cabal once was called a Great Reset. This Great Reset is designed to steal your wealth by making you poor, starving you as part of population reduction, like what happened in third world countries during the pandemic. That was by design. Remember, they were killing animals. That was not by coincidence, or they were dismissing it as just unnatural occurrences or unofficial occurrences were happening. But we know what was going on. They were killing farm animals and destroying agriculture because you create to have between law of supply and demand. They create artificial scarcity because the elites they don't want you to own anything. This is why the agenda is called 2030. Look up Klaus Schwab's 2030 agenda. There's information. If you can't feel like you can't find it on YouTube, you have other platforms like Rumble, BitChute that are not as filtered, where you can look up information about the ruling class elite, the Illuminati. This is very significant. The good news is many people worldwide are waking up to these this global criminal syndicate at the top that's runs the deep state here in the U.S. A lot of the minions, underlings are their puppets, by the way. But the evil cabal once was called a Great Reset, which is not the same thing as a global currency reset. They wanted, as what they were trying to accomplish during the pandemic, they had so-called scandemic, I call it, COVID camps, by the way, were set up. If you look up information, Governor Kathy Hochul in New York had bypassed the congressional leaders, what she was normally supposed to go through in New York, and pass a governmental executive order to legalize COVID camps, which is another name. They don't want to spook the public. They use these fancy terms instead of using concentration camps. But you know, the people, the militia years ago that was studying, teaching about posse comitatus, things that are coming about, the cabal, the evil ones, got really slick with trying to suppress, keep secret their agenda. You guys have heard of the Bilderberg Group, or the Bilderberg, which the World Economic Forum is like the daylight version of the Bilderberg Group. They want population reduction. The Great Reset is designed to steal your wealth by making you poor. This is why they've delayed the cabal has been behind this blood money involved. You know, when you talk about dinars, they went into these countries, different places. They, you know, did what they did. There's documentaries behind this, like I told you guys in the past, to help connect the dots. Watch the documentary if you can still find it on YouTube. You can watch these documentaries free. Ring of Power, Empire of the City. Watch the documentary called Changes on the Horizon. Ring of Power, Empire of the City, I just mentioned. Money Masters is a good documentary. Monopoly Men. There was a documentary that National Inflation Association did behind the colleges. The scams. Look up College Conspiracy. Look up that documentary if you want to learn about how they use these for-profit schools, colleges to swindle money out of people. It's another tactic they use to make you poor, put you in debt with student loans and things. It's real slick. But the movie Money Masters, which is long, and Monopoly Men will help you connect the dots. But the Great Reset, once again, is designed to steal your wealth, making you poor. It's part of population reduction. This happened in third world countries. Many died during COVID. GMO foods, pharmaceutical drugs is part of eugenics. It's part of their population reduction agenda. And yeah, this is what they're part of. These are the things that we're facing, by the way, as we've been patiently waiting for reevaluation for years. We are also facing an extinction level event, which I put in the title of this video. Bo Pony, if you guys are familiar with, which I followed for quite a while. He's a biblical analyst of time. He does speaking engagements. He knows the Bible really well. He used to be, he's actually a doctor, used to be a chiropractor, I believe, based out of California. And he was called upon by the Holy Spirit to warn God's people of what things that are taking place in the future. He has a book, but check out Bo Pony. As symbolically, I did a video not too long ago. It has silver is exploding has symbolic significance to a major volcanic eruption. I believe he said at a park. He doesn't know for sure, or he may not be saying some things he holds back from his subscribers, but he's been accurate with other prophecies. When I've listened to him mention, like before Roe v. Wade was overturned, I remember watching him clearly when he spoke about that. I think on Greg Hunter's show. Greg Hunter used to work for CNN years ago, worked for some other mainstream corporate news organizations that are controlled by the cabal's dinosaur media. And Greg Hunter was baffled. Bo Pony caught it. He doesn't get credit for that because I watch Twisted Christian from time to time, and TC can be hard on Bo Pony, but Bo Pony has been accurate with a lot of his predictions, or you say biblical prophecies, because he's an analyst of time, so he does things different from woo-woo guy Richard or Cliff High's Webbot report or Dick Allegar that does remote viewing. Bo Pony has his own unique technique where he uses the Julian calendar and different timelines and is able to interpret, translate the scriptures and put it in the real time and context in our modern day society and warn God's people of what is getting ready to take place. But he says as silver it gets ready or explodes, symbolically there's going to be some type of major volcanic eruption. Is believed to be Yellowstone Park. He did say recently it's going to be contained, so I don't know too much of what God has given him. I don't know if he's gone into the full prophecy or prophetic word yet, but I believe he said it's going to be contained. This is also because in the Bible it talks about there will be signs and wonders in last times, a part of end time prophecy. This is also tied in with earthquakes are also indication and signs of things that can be manifesting or taking place. That can be indication that he states as silver is exploding, because we know it broke records recently. The cabal, the evil cabal, they pushed it back because we know for years they have been suppressing the price. If you watch, what's his name? The guy Road to Ruta, I forget his name, that has the channel that covers silver price manipulation. He's mentioned the riggers. The time is up because there's going to come a point in time where they could no longer suppress it. And they were getting in trouble for spoofing prices, like securities violations and things of that sort, which can get quite expensive and has added up over time. By the way, this is all tied in, but Bo Pony mentioned as silver is exploding, there's going to be some symbolic significance with some catastrophic event. So I noticed, and prior I was going to do a video a while ago. I would have to find my notes in my email, but I was listening to an economist. I forget her name. She's really good. I follow her, and it's one other lady throughout the years. I can't think of her name offhand, but it's believed to be some information coming out that scientists know that something is going to be taking place allegedly by 2027. We're facing a potential pole shift. They say actually scientifically we're due up. It's supposed to happen every so many thousands of years, just like volcanic eruptions have happened. And the Cascadian fault line and like along the coastline of California, I believe that's the Pacific Ocean. They say we're on borrowed time. By the way, I remember, rest in peace to Pastor Lindsey Williams. He used to mention that we're on borrowed time. By the way, that there's some things, but I was listening. I can't think of her name, and she's really good with financial literacy, breaking down what's going on with gold, silver, precious metals. It's so many different people I listen to, like Dr. Kirk Elliott. He's really good as well. You go to band.video or go over to Flyover Conservatives YouTube channel. They're Christian, by the way. You know, I listen to all sorts of people. You know, I'm not getting political at all. I'm personally not a registered voter. So in case you guys are wondering, you know, I listen to people I follow that personally I feel have credible information. There's a saying, he who has ears, let him hear. He who has eyes, let him see. So I'm just relaying the information. I'm simply a messenger, just sharing it, by the way. So this, once again, this great reset is designed to steal your wealth by making you poor, starving you. As part of population reduction, like many third world countries that starved during the COVID crisis. GMO foods, pharmaceutical drugs as part of the whole eugenics movement. They don't want you healthy. They also don't want us accessing new life extension technology, med beds, known as celestial chambers, advanced technology they have, red light therapy, things of that sort, hyperbaric chambers what Michael Jackson used to sleep in years ago, which that can reduce your age, your lifespan. They have more advanced things now, I'm hearing, but the cabal only wants their people to access it. They don't want, of course, general public or so many people finding out. That's why they want to keep you poor and starved. I'm just getting, breaking it down in a more simple, concise manner that you guys can digest easily, because a lot of this information can get sophisticated for a lot of people. But I'm just breaking it down. Like Klaus Schwab, who's a member, you can look up who he is with the World Economic Forum. He has the 2030 agenda where you will own nothing, you will be happy. He wants 15-minute cities. He wants a social credit system, by the way. And this is significant with part of this whole social credit system, which they already have in China. By the way, I got word that Bill Gates and the former CEO of Google, Eric Schmidt, set up their social credit system in China, by the way, where it's integrated like how we have our credit score over here. It would be integrated with, they track your social actions, like if things they don't like what they do with cancel culture and things, it would be track your personal life, but they will integrate the technological devices that you utilize. Like there was a whistleblower from Google named Zach Voorhees that came out some years ago. Google punished him. He used to work for them. He was an engineer for Google. He exposed he didn't like what they were doing when they created a search engine called the Dragonfly. He said him and others that worked there spoke out against it. It was a clear violation of freedom of speech, an invasion of privacy. These are some things that James Comey's getting in trouble for. If you're wondering about some of these indictments where he's claiming he's innocent, where they illegally wiretapped and spied on President Trump's campaign, which was admitted by James Clapper, former head of the CIA, Brennan, some other people are in trouble. By the way, you may hear about more indictments that are going to be taking place. The arrests are also part of the higher ups in control said they didn't want certain people. And I remember they said this years ago, there was ongoing arrests and things taking place, but this is part of it, a cleanup operation. But you still have some major problems with the evil cabal. They have minions and underlings that work for them that don't have the general public's best interest at heart. They are more so heavily aligned with the Democratic Party, by the way, than they are the Republican Party. There's a lot of cleanup, but there's I hear about 20 to 30% that are still left, stay behind network that is trying to sabotage the agenda when they've committed crimes themselves in the past, but they were trying to just make it one-sided politically when they've done a lot of bad things. But remember Eric Snowden, the whistleblower from the National Security Agency, who some years ago, when he admitted that President Obama had ordered them, and remember he had to go over to Russia for asylum because he knew if he stayed over here in the U.S., like when Julian Assange went overseas to escape, he knew what was going to happen eventually before Julian Assange was set free or gained asylum or whatever. But there was like some type of rules, like he can't speak or do certain things. Now I don't remember all the details, but remember Eric Snowden had to escape because he came out as a whistleblower, and the mainstream organization, because they put, for example, Obama in a positive light, who I'm not personally, I've never met before. I'm not vindictive against any of these people. I'm just reporting on the information. I could get starstruck if I met him or Trump. It doesn't matter to me. I don't get, like I said, I don't get into that politics. I'm not a registered voter. I'm apolitical. I can truly report on information without having an attachment. I'm not paid by Alex Jones, InfoWars, no political party. I don't work for George Soros. I'm not a member of Antifa. I did have a friend who confirmed when they, Snoops and others tried to say that it's a lie, which George Soros' son, Alexander Soros, has taken over Open Society Foundation. I had a friend who proved to me showed me some years ago. His other brother found out was being funded by through Open Society Foundation. He showed me his name on the website, so that is real, where they were funding a lot of Antifa riots, stuff like that. But like I say, I'm not on neither side. Just to clear my name, because people are always accusing people of being shills, agents, or double agents, stuff like that. But I'm a real one, bringing you the information as I see it. This is unfiltered. By the way, I'm not reading from a teleprompter. I do have some notes prepared, but I want to give an overview what we're dealing with the cabal. I'm going to read some of the comments. Just now it says show on stage. Internet crime says hi. Okay, I'm going to go to the next comment. Forest Outlaw says hopefully the RV is not far away this year. I hope. Yeah, I hope, that I'm there with you, but I have a feeling, possibly they could push this back till April or May of next year. It shouldn't. I was thinking, promises saying it'll happen by Christmas, I don't know, or January, because they pushed it, they've delayed it so many times. But I'm giving you other reasons, because the so-called good cabal is an oxymoron. It's still a cabal. It's still bad, by the way. Ron T says it's been 20 years. There won't be an RV. Everything will be digital. Yeah, everything is moving over to digital. There is things that change. However, remember, as they're converting your paper currency, which is digital now, like you ever think the Federal Reserve notes that we hold in our pockets, by the way. So even though, for example, this is paper, but you have a bank account, by the way, that if you deposit this right here, these notes, these Federal Reserve notes, then it's form of digital. It's just, you get into, you got to understand the banking system. It's more complex. But yes, we are moving over to a digital system. One of my private sources has been telling me about the blockchain system. However, look up tokenization, because some people don't understand. There was concern behind, how your funds or how certain items, real estate, tangible items would convert over under the new system. But I do hear the catch, because I heard some rich people talking about how they wanted to avoid taxes because the new blockchain system will be tracked and traced. So it'll be hard. But I bet there'll still be loopholes around it, but they're going to make things, it's going to be a lot more sophisticated and more difficult. But one of the things through tokenization is supposed to allow you, say if you own physical hard assets like real estate, property, make sales and things, or gold, or even forms of, let's say if it's foreign currency, not just paper currency, you still have to have a way to convert it over to the currency that's being used. The only thing is just when it's reported on the blockchain ledger, it can be reportable, by the way, which some rich people that know about this said they were concerned about the taxes, but that system is changing as well. I'm not an expert, and that's a whole separate video within itself, by the way. So it says right here, he says, Bo will be told to not accept paper currency. Will be told. Okay, yeah, that's it's still all part of the agenda. By the way, he says banks. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna show this comment on stage. Truth, peace, or Truth says, are the banks committing double entry? Absolutely. It. That's part of their system of double entry bookkeeping. By the way, yes, indeed, the banks are part of. I learned many years ago in the sovereign movement is we're learning about how they properly do discharges. And remember, some of their gatekeepers, the people that work within the system, are not trained on knowing how to process negotiable instruments. Because some bankers, I was getting word, were calling these checks that they saw sovereign checks. They weren't familiar at all with registered securities. And I had firsthand experience from being in a situation where I asked a particular bank, I won't say their name, I actually banked with them. I asked them at a different branch, did they do the medallion signature stamp? And they told me no at the time, but I went to a different branch. This was some years later, by the way, and the branch manager, she overheard me at the time. They've already since sent her to a separate location. But as I asked her more questions and the teller was there, once you get inside at this particular branch, there was no bulletproof, but you have to go through like one of those doors to get in. But make a long story short, the branch manager was walking out right as I was asking the teller at the time, did they do the medallion signature? And she said yes. And I said, wow, but she gave me her business card. She told me to contact her, email her, but I asked her some other questions and she said, oh, I can't talk about that. And that let me know that the lower level people or people that work, they cannot let them know. See, I attended a private event some years ago, by the way, and I told you guys, many of you guys already know, if you go to I did some videos on my newer channel at Dorsey's Resource 873. I did videos over here where I showed the black card. I doxed myself on purpose. I plan to do that to show you guys proof I wasn't BSing or making this stuff up from this angle that I'm relaying the information to you guys, by the way. So we got some more comments. Truth Peace says, oh wow, he says, I believe it. By the way, let me read this comment. Ryan T says, if the negotiable instrument is not registered with the SEC, the medallion stamp will not be accepted. Interesting. Yep, I haven't got to that level. You know, I probably should have given a disclaimer at this point. This video is for informational, educational purposes only. Please understand this video is not to be construed as legal advice. In the event you feel you need to seek a competent professional, it is encouraged you do so at one's own leisure. Dorsey's Resource channel is not liable or responsible for anyone's misuse of the information. These are simply my opinions. This is not financial advice. This is not securities advice. This is not legal advice. This is not tax advice. In the event you feel you need to seek someone of competence, do so at your own leisure. I'm not responsible. You are responsible for your own commercial affairs. With that being said, all rights are reserved. Henceforth, now and forever. This applies to every single video I've uploaded prior and before. Also check prior videos if I have fair use listed as well. When I do show things, that is included in my disclaimers as well, by the way. But I'm just sharing from my experience personally, what I've researched. I don't claim to be a know-it-all or expert, but I did attend a private event some years ago by invitation only. It was a private clandestine operation. I did videos about that. Many of you all already know there was others, someone I'm in contact with right before this video. And I know things that a lot of people in the general public are not familiar with or have never heard of, by the way. I came out as a whistleblower, by the way. I see another comment I'm going to read. Force Outlaw says, always, the rumors are strong in Dinar land. Many think Iraq will revalue the rate for elections. Do you think they will go 1-to-1 with the USD and do the reinstatement price? I think eventually it will happen, because you can look at the Kuwaiti dollar. Look at years ago. There's whole history behind when this happened. But, you know, this is also tied in with blood money. I remember TNT used to mention John Perkins' book called Confessions of an Economic Hitman. By the way, you can look up John Perkins or information about him. So there's been a long history and agenda. And if you look in the currency books, there's official currency books to look for, because there's a division of the Secret Service that actually investigates whether currencies and stuff are real, foreign currency. There's ways to tell. There's they've caught counterfeiters all the time. Like, it's not just people that have counterfeited our currency, but it's people that have done stuff for like overseas, I guess, foreign currency as well. So and there's the, you know, the cabal, not the cabal, but the alphabet agencies. They've already done, from the word I got, background checks, investigations, and those types of things are going to be ongoing. But to answer your question, in my opinion, the dinar will eventually revalue one day. And remember, keep in mind, it's always had a rate that's flowing, even at a lower amount. If you look at it like cryptocurrencies, or Bitcoin. Remember Bitcoin before it got to where it's at now. Remember Bitcoin used to be $1 at one time, or pennies on $1. Just like certain current currencies like XRP. Remember before XRP went up, XRP used to be like in the cent range, like 20, 30 cents, 40 cents before it went up to like a couple bucks or wherever it's at now, for example. So I think it will eventually happen, take place. But I just wanted to add this information on how we may be facing an extinction level event before the GCR occurs or at the last moment, because the cabal that's ultimately in charge, that sabotages a lot of things. Watch the documentary called Changes on the Horizon. See if you can watch the documentary called Changes on the Horizon. If you never saw it before, this will back up what I'm saying. Check out Changes on the Horizon, by the way, because the cabal has wanted population reduction. They don't want certain people, of course, once again, to get a hold of wealth. They want you poor. This is what Pastor Lindsey Williams mentioned before he died. Remember, he lived with the elite of the world at one time. The word he got, he was still in touch with one of the elites after Ken Fromm died. One of the elites contacted him, say, hey, Lindsey, do you still want the information? That was before Lindsey eventually passed away. And they want a social credit system. That's why I told the story about Zach Voorhees that used to work for Google earlier. But in the meantime, what you can do, continue to stay the course, buy precious metals, silver and physical silver and gold, get you some XRP, XLM, Stellar Lumens, the ISO certified coins to be safe. By the way, HBAR, stick with the chosen coins. By the way, I do hear some others are going to survive, but after a certain point, the elites are going to decide which cryptos are going to survive, and then they're going to destroy all the other ones are going to go away. The word that I got. So, you know, these are the things, you know, part of preparing, but you also need store food, water, because things can get really bad, like anticipating with this government shutdown, you know, other essentials, this part of emergency preparedness, prepping, survival. By the way, it's always important to have extra food on hand because you never know, even for natural disasters that could potentially occur, by the way. So I'll read Force Outlaw's comment, says, thanks, bro. Yeah, you're welcome. Appreciate you joining. So that's all I got for you guys. This video, I didn't intend it to be that long while I'm still at work. I just wanted to be less than an hour, but I wanted to come before you guys from a different angle and go over, this is kind of like part of the NWO's agenda. And I gave you the documentaries to look up. Check out Ring of Power, Empire of the City, Changes on the Horizon. Check that documentary out. Monopoly Men, Money Masters. It's always a good documentary. Other ways they want you poor. Check out a documentary that was put out by the National Inflation Association some years ago. If you can still find it on YouTube, you should still be able to watch it for free. It's called College Conspiracy, where they use loans and debt to make you poor, put you in debt, by the way. Ryan T says, peace, bro. Peace to you as well. Thank you for joining. So that's about it. You know, guys, they want, you know, part of their agenda. But I hear Bo Pony has mentioned that silver is exploding. We may get, there may be a major volcanic eruption. It's believed to be a Yellowstone Park. There are some documentaries on it, but he did say it will be contained. But I don't know if he gave like a full prophecy on it, a prophetic word, what to watch out for. There will be earthquakes and things. I hear the Cascadian Fault is due up. It's on borrowed time. And remember, after a major earthquake, there's a large tsunami. You have about 15 minutes where a lot of people will be rushing out the city. You only got so much time where you have to get out the city, get out of Dodge before stuff really hits the fan and takes place, by the way. So that's what we're dealing with. I just wanted to show you guys, this is another reason why I believe, my personal opinion, when I found out they've been delaying this is not a coincidence. Why they've been delaying this and why this may be taking place and what we maybe have to watch out for. So you guys will have a heads up. You guys have been wondering why they've been stalling this all these years. Excuse me. Why I don't talk about this topic as much anymore. I'm just telling you, when you know the elite's agenda, you know, they want population reduction. They want you poor. They don't want a bunch of people rich. Excuse me. I've been talking. I had to drink some water, get some liquid. They remember what they tried to do during COVID. By the way, I told the story with Governor Kathy Hochul in New York. She passed a governmental executive order for COVID camps. She bypassed her local legislatures, which she was supposed to go through for the state of New York, and passed because she's part of the cabal. She's part of the World Economic Forum. You know, they have a lot of minions and underlings part of the deep state, but this is how they pass these different agendas, guys. To give you guys a little background, look up Larry Fink from BlackRock. He was appointed recently as co-chairman of the World Economic Forum. That's not a coincidence. MSNBC, NBC News, Nightly News did a story how BlackRock was directly responsible some years ago of being a corporate landlord, causing people's rent prices to go up. That's another way they want to make you poor, suffer with high rent prices, mortgage prices, etc. As part of their agenda to make you poor. Other things, food prices, things of that sort. It's all part of their evil agenda. So when you understand that, then you kind of have a better blueprint. Don't get too geeked up, but just stay the course. Continue to do the proper things. Buy physical silver. Buy gold. Make sure your silver is real. Silver coins. Stick with. I know about the refineries. I meant to tell you guys. I still wouldn't sell your constitutional silver, even though local coin shops, many of them are not buying it back. I do hear some places still are, but there's going to come a point in time. I'm going to give you guys free game where silver is going to become so valuable that, refineries, they're going to eventually start buying it again. It's just because of the recent, when silver broke records recently, silver and gold, before the cabal pushed it back, they're going to, they want to focus on the not 0.999 silver coins, like your Silver Eagles, coins like your Maple Leafs, your British Britannias, your Sovereigns, your other types of bullion. So the junk silver, which is 90%, they have to go through more to separate the silver from the other parts of the metal that is not worth as much. So it's more work for the refineries. I get it. But I personally, certain types of constitutional silver, you can use it for your trust. It's backed by tangible substance. It can be utilized for a common law bank, but that's like a whole nother video. That's very advanced information that's not privy only to a select amount of people. Giving you guys free game, but I wouldn't sell, your junk silver. Junk silver is still going to become very valuable, but for the time being, I will focus on while the getting's good, because Bo Pony says soon we're going to probably be headed to not only triple digits, but up into the thousands. Remember, gold used to be several $100s, even less than that before it's where it's at now, just over 4,000. So silver, it's a given. Obviously, also copper coins. Copper's another thing. I've had people ask me about that. Same concept, but silver's still very affordable for the time being. But I would hurry up, get in while the getting's good. So that's part of staying the course, protecting your wealth, your purchasing power as the Federal Reserve notes weakens. You're making exchange for worthless papers, for dollars, holding physical, tangible assets. So with that said, appreciate you guys for joining, watching my video. Make sure you subscribe to Dorsey's Resource 873. That's the new channel. Until next time, don't forget to like this video, comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace. I'm out. All right. Appreciate you guys joining. Take care. Deuces.